Yo, today's encouragement is check your perspective. Check your perspective. The encouragement comes from a book, Unreasonable Hospitality. Hadn't finished yet. It's a great book so far. If you're into customer service or you just like to read good business books, Unreasonable Hospitality is worth checking out. Check your perspective. The first quote from the book comes from former Navy Captain David Marquette, and he says that in too many organizations, the people at the top have all the authority and none of the information, while the people on the front line have all the information and none of the authority. Hold that thought. The second one says, perspective has an expiration date, no matter how hard you try to hold on to it. When you lose the viewpoint of the people you're responsible for managing, you also tend to lose your empathy for them. Today's encouragement, check your perspective. If you heard that first quote and you're a frontline kind of guy or gal, and obviously there might be levels. You might be the front line to the people above you, and then you might be above some people. But whatever your front line might be, if you find yourself on the front line, you think, yeah, that is true. All these people above me don't have any idea what's going on. I can't make any decisions. And perhaps if you're the person with the authority, you think, I've earned this position. I need to make these decisions. The people at the front line don't really understand the big picture. I like that one. They don't see the big picture. I say that in jest because I see both sides, and nobody's necessarily right or wrong. But we need to check our perspective. And the people on the front line have a lot to offer and a lot of information that often the people that are in the big office, if you will, don't have the same perspective, and they can't. They just can't. In the teaching world, this is the principal who's now been out of the classroom for 10 years. They can stay in touch. They can get into classrooms, but they can't have the same perspective as the teacher who's in there every day. The superintendent cannot have the same perspective. Good or bad, right or wrong, that's not the issue. Can the people in the classroom have the same perspective as the superintendent? No. That's the point. Should it be some kind of battle about who's right or wrong? Not if you want to be most successful. Check your perspective. If you're in the front line, you might do you some good to try to understand the big picture. My perspective currently, maybe it changes later, but my perspective is it's the leader's responsibility. It's the leader's responsibility to do what they can to hold on to that perspective, which is where the second quote comes in. It's to do what they can to instill trust that the people in the front line can make some of those decisions because they do have the information, or at a minimum, that there is clear lines and clear opportunity to share that information. And then the trust is had that what they're saying is accurate and real and timely. To the second point, perspective has an expiration date. And so how do we hold on to it? One, you could journal, you could take notes as you're going through things, as you're solving problems that might present themselves again, as you're having conversations with people. You can keep notes. But the other thing, and I think maybe the most powerful thing is, just like I just mentioned, is that wherever we are, top to bottom, front line to manager, authority to not authority, whatever the org chart looks like, there's got to be trust and communication. We got to listen to the people who are down on the front lines doing the work if we're leading. We got to listen to them when they say this system doesn't work like you think it does. The people aren't responding like you think they are. This program doesn't work the way that you say it should. Now, maybe that's a me problem, maybe that's an us problem, maybe that's a program problem, but you need to know that this is what's happening on the front lines. And again, my perspective is that it's always management. It's the leader's responsibility to create that trust, to create that communication, to provide the listening ear, and to communicate perspective back as it needs to be done. So wherever you are, frontline, leader, somewhere in between, my encouragement is to check your perspective. And if you have the authority to do so, to help facilitate a culture of trust and communication so that your organization, your team can be the best it possibly can. As always, I'm pulling for you. Look forward to talking to you next time.